Hey everyone, today I have the Fiio KA17 in for review. For a long time I wanted a dongle DAC which could have a customizable EQ and saved inside the DAC. And well, looks like my wish was fulfilled with the Fiio KA17 over here. This is a review unit from Fiio and all the thoughts and opinions you're about to hear are my own. So let's get started. First, I want to say that I'm really excited for this product, but it turned out into a disappointment as when I first received the unit, there were a lot of issues and bugs. But thankfully, it was fixed with an update. The version I had before was a pre-launch firmware. Updating to the latest firmware of the KA17 to the version 0.99, it fixed the DAC and its issues. I held doing my review until I got that update as it fixed a lot of issues. The packaging of the KA17 is really awesome. The box holds the DAC, the USB-C cable, USB-C to A adapter and a case. The packaging is fantastic and it has everything one will need. Except maybe the USB-C cable is a bit flimsy, but I personally haven't had any issues with it. Also, almost all dongle DACs case is sold separately, but it is so nice of Fiio to include the case inside the box. Good job, Fiio. Now the KA17 size-wise is a bit chunky. It's a bit bigger than most dongle DACs out there. So yeah, as you can see, it's a bit chunky. The KA17 has 3.5mm and 4.4mm. The volume buttons which are independent of the source. And this is the mode button, and this is the desktop on and off mode. This is the USB-C, the main USB-C which you can connect the transport to, and this is the separate USB-C for just powering. This has no data. The desktop mode can be activated if it is connected by the main port and is receiving enough power from the source. Some Android phones, laptops, PCs can supply enough power over here. It supplies 140 mW from 3.5, 300 mW from 4.4 in normal mode, 270 mW from 3.5, 650 mW from 4.4 in desktop mode. Now talking about the UI of the KA17 and what it can do. The default screen shows the bitrate, volume it is at, and the USB mode. First, there is a gain menu. You can select low or high over there. Then there is the filter menu, of which there are 8. I didn't notice any difference with all these filters at all. I use the default fast filter. Then there is an option for volume step, wherein you can select between 60 or 120 volume steps. It also has support for SPDIF or SPDIF, so you can toggle on and off bit for that. Then you have a setting wherein you can adjust the left and right shift of the music, which is a fantastic feature to have, especially if your hearing is a bit damaged in one side, or if the source of the music or the video you're playing has some issues and the audio is being leaned toward one side. After that, you have the dimmer switch, which there are 5 preset settings. Then comes the EQ, which has 7 presets and 3 user presets, and one option to bypass the EQ completely. Now bypassing the EQ completely disables the MQA option 2. So if you want to use the MQA and do not want to use the EQ, use the option EQ off. Before the version 0.99, there was a separate option for MQA on and off. Now the 3 user available EQs are awesome, and that gives me a lot of flexibility in having a bass boost EQ built inside the DAC, so that if I ever wanted a slight bass boost and I do not want to use EQ on the transport, then this works very well. Sometimes when listening to low volumes, quite a few IEMs, there is a lack of body to the entire song and there is a lack of bass. So I keep a separate EQ for low volume listening, wherein I bump the bass a tad bit more than the previous case. The EQ is a 10-band EQ, and for each band, you can select the gain and the Q value of the band, which is really awesome. Q value basically means how wide or narrow range the band is when you're changing. Also, each EQ gets a gain of plus to minus 12 dB. After the EQ section, there is a max volume setting. Herein you can limit the volume above which the KA17 won't be going. Next setting is a rotation display, which turns the display 180 degrees around depending on your needs. Next is a display off setting, of which in increments of 5 you can select from 5 seconds up to 60 seconds. After that, it shows a USB mode you are on. You can switch between USB mode 1 or 2 for the PS5 or for the Nintendo Switch. Then there is a language selection in English or Chinese. Then at last there is a recovery mode or factory reset mode for the KA17. That was a bit long covering the menu settings and what it does. Now talking about the DAC chip and amps of the KA17, it has 2 ES9069Q flagship DAC chips and the THX AAA78 Plus headphone amp. A non-plus version of this same amp was used in the M11 and M11S DACs. The digital and analog portions of the circuit are on totally separate circuit boards. Each board is equipped with shielding cover for total isolation. This also has the XMOS XU316 USB receiver, which is a first for a dongle DAC if I'm not wrong. The KA17 supports up to DSD 512, 768 kHz, 32-bit and full MQ unfolding. Now talking about the meats and potatoes, the sound. I'll be talking about the sound without any EQ, and I'll be using the EQ bypass mode to test the sound. Now before talking about the sound, I want to say one thing, is that it is very hard to judge sound characteristics of a DAC, and the sound is clearly depend on the IM you're using and also comparing it with other dongle DACs. The overall sound of the Fiio KA17 is very neutral with a slight tinge of brightness. The tinge of brightness isn't something which will make your bright IMs unbearable to listen to, but rather your warm IMs, warm sounding IMs or treble shy IMs will get a small dose of treble which makes it sound nice and clear. The neutral sound signature doesn't mean that the bass authority has been lost. With IMs like the Nova and KZ Caster, the bass had enough authority and deep punchiness which made the bass sound crispier too. Something like my Tanzim Kara in the desktop mode really benefited from the extra power and its bass sounded much more fuller, crispier and very nicely textured over here too. The mid-range here is crystal clear and sounds exactly how I would want. Again, the Kara in desktop mode was really a treat to listen to. Chris Cornell's voice, which sounded a bit lackluster in the Kara, is in most underpowered DACs. It sounded really good over here. The treble of the KA17 is very good. The tinge of brightness doesn't cause any issues to any of my bright IMs even at moderate volumes. The Kara in desktop mode sounded very nice here too. The instruments sounded very good too. The treble notes here aren't too blunted and they are really crisp. The soundstage of the KA17 is phenomenal and so is the imaging. When listening to live songs, especially the 1985 live album by Cassiopeia, it is immediately apparent. I was really surprised by this. Watching any movies like the Top Gun movies was awesome over here, and Flyby of the Jets too was awesome and it was very crisp. I cannot specify how good the KA17 powers and opens up something like the Tanzim Kara in desktop mode. Kara is a very hard to drive and it seems like it is paired perfectly with the KA17. Now for battery life, I tested it out with the Moondrop Chew 2 at 30% volume in low gain mode via the 3.5mm jack. I got around 9.5 hours of battery. Yes, it is very low and on my battery rank list, this is the lowest, but that's sort of expected with the amount of power it pushes. Even when idle, the KA17 pulls a lot of battery from the transport and it stays quite warm. The KA17 does get heated up a lot, especially when using it in desktop mode. There is an overheating notification present on KA17 which will notify you when the temp is too much. I suggest using the KA17 out in open, especially when using it in desktop mode. Now comparison to other DACs versus the Aune Yuki. Well, in terms of features, the KA17 wins here no doubt. Now previously I had given the Yuki as my favorite dongle DAC in terms of soundstage. But well, the Fiio KA17 beats the Yuki when it comes to that. If you still want something a bit analog sounding, then the Yuki is still a great option. But if you want a great soundstage and imaging along with a very neutral sound and detailed sound along with EQ, then the KA17 is where it is at. The battery is much better on the Yuki than on the KA17. Versus the Colrofly CDA-M2. In every aspect of the sound, the KA17 is just a superior product over here, especially the KA17 having EQ. But when it comes to battery life, the Colrofly is much better when compared to the Fiio KA17. Versus the Hiby FC6. Well, the FC6 is my favorite dongle, period. But the KA17 is superior when it comes to soundstage and imaging. When talking about the overall quality of the sound, still I prefer the analog sounding FC6 over here. But I have to say that the KA17 takes the first spot too on my list of favorite dongles along with the FC6. If I want something with greater soundstage and neutral sound signature, then the KA17 it is. If I want to relax and enjoy my music, then it is FC6. Well, I had a lot of hopes for the KA17, but it just broke all that and it quickly became one of my favorite dongle along with the FC6. If anyone wants a do-it-all dongle DAC, I highly suggest checking out the Fiio KA17 because at its $149 price point, I would say it's definitely worth it. I have never said that, but even at $200, I would say the Fiio KA17 is a great product. Being able to power most IEMs and headphones without any issues in desktop mode is an awesome thing to have inside your pocket. But it has one con, is that it does suck up a lot of battery when connected even in normal mode. So do be careful when you're using it with your transport. I'm sorry if I sound a bit excited about this because how the KA17 sounds is just fantastic, and the EQ function plus its price makes it an overall fantastic device to own. Well, that's my review of the Fiio KA17. I hope you liked it. If you have any questions, please do try to comment and I'll try to help you out. 94% of the people watching this video aren't subscribed, so I would really appreciate if you could like and subscribe to my channel. That would really mean a lot. It's completely free of charge and it helps me out a lot. So yeah, thanks for stopping by. I hope you have a great day ahead. Bye.